Hi, I'm Katie from Coven, and I am going to go through how I plan and perform a DJ set with live vocals. So a typical set for me would be, say, within an hour. If I did like 40 to 50 tracks, I'd say about 30% of them would be original tracks, although the Coven tracks take up a lot of a larger portion of the set. So in terms of like performance time, it's like 50% originals, 50% mix sections, which is probably quite normal for most DJs who also produce. They play a lot of their own music mixed in with other people's music. The only difference is that then I'm picking up the microphone to perform all of the Coven music. And that works in some different ways. Sometimes I'll bring a track in with the fader up and I'll just start singing straight away because I know what's coming in, I know the key of it. I have to kind of trust myself to get the key right, but normally it works. Sometimes I'll give myself more time to perform a track, so I will go out the front to sing it and perform it. I'll play the whole track and get back with just enough time to come and hit the next track in. So I do a lot of prep and a lot of planning for the sets because I want to know exactly how much time I've got to go out the front to perform before I have to get back and hit play on the next track, because the last thing I want is silence. Nobody wants silence, unless it's planned silence, of course. So everything I do is very, very planned. If it's a festival set or like a headline show, the sets will be pretty planned from point A to point Z. So I know exactly what I'm doing. And the reason I do that is because I want it to feel like a show as well as a DJ set. So I just want to make sure all the performance parts are as crisp and as perfect as they can be, along with the DJ parts. If I was going to do like an after party, then I would probably do a little bit more something unplanned and wing it a little bit. But in terms of like the big shows, I know exactly where I need to be and when I need to be there. I know exactly what point I'm bringing the next track in. I know exactly how much time I've got to run to the front of the stage or climb up on the stage, or just how much time I've got to perform before I've got to get back and do the next mix. I've been DJing, I think I started to learn about 12 years ago, kind of on again, off again. In terms of like properly taking it seriously, it's probably been like 10 years, which is basically since I joined Koven. I was kind of just starting to learn to DJ then, and then I started working with Max in Coven. That's when things got a lot more serious and I put a lot more time into it. So the way that I DJ is standard to most people, but then there are some different and slightly more unique ways of doing it to incorporate the singing, which I'll show you guys in a bit. But they're kind of things that I kind of had to teach myself in order to make it work being a singing DJ, which includes a lot of bringing tunes in with the faders up, and just, like I say, just knowing my mixes back to front and knowing exactly when I need to bring the tunes in. And sometimes I won't have the ability to beat match because I'm singing, so I can't hear my vocal and beat match, so I had to trust that I'm bringing it in exactly on point. So when I'm preparing a set, I will use record box. I use a lot of cue points. Originally, I remember the first few sets I did were on CDs. For a long time, people kept saying to me, why are you still on CDs? But I was so scared to go with the new technology. But of course, record box has made everything so much simpler in terms of planning sets, because the amount of CDs I used to burn to like test out a mix just was a bit mad. So yeah, record box makes everything so much simpler now with setting your cue points and planning your sets, making your playlists. So I do everything on that, as well as having a setup at home that I can run through. So I'll do the planning mostly on my laptop, and then I'll do like the test runs on my setup at home. And I even do something which sounds a bit mad and probably a little bit embarrassing, but like I will do a mix, and then like if it's a track that I'm going to sing live, I'll actually kind of like run to another part of my house and then back again, just to see like exactly how much time I have to run to the front of the stage and back again, because the timing is really, really important. So I'm using in-ear monitors now instead of using headphones. Whereas before I'd have to take the headphones on and off, I now have a switch that switches between DJ and sing, which works the same as taking headphones on and off. The reason that these are so important for me is, one, for my hearing protection. I wasn't wearing any hearing protection before because I couldn't sing with them in my ears, with these in my ears. It sounded like I was underwater. So I've been in clubs not wearing any hearing protection for a while, which was just really silly. So this protects me. But the other thing it does is it makes my vocals so crisp and clear in my head. Whereas like sometimes club setups, it's really difficult to hear yourself because they're so loud. Even if you go for a sound check, you think the levels are all great, but then once you actually go into the real live environment, the levels can be off again. So this, not only does it protect my hearing, it protects my voice because it stops me straining to try and hear myself over the big club monitors. So all in all, it just protects everything and makes everything sound nicer, and just makes everything easier for me. So I'm just going to show you guys an example of how I would bring a tune in when one track is playing, so a non-Coven track, and then how I'm going to bring in a Coven original track over the top of the other one. So I've got this track going, and then I'm just trusting myself to bring this one into the right cue point and sing it in the right key, basically.
You live a dark life, till someone shone a light, for better far it goes, so everybody knows. You had a good chance, but didn't say much. Left it too late now to apologize. Oh, time has caught you out with memories to burn down, an empty sympathy. Your followers know it now. Your followers know it now. Your followers know it now.
There we go. So another example of how I'll bring a tune in will be, I'm already playing and singing an original Coven track, and I have the fader up of the next tune that I'm about to bring in.
How does it get to this? My endless love was crashing down around me, won't give me up. How did we take it this far? We'll never end. You're all I ever needed. Love wins again. Love wins again.
And then I can start bringing this one down a bit.
Fuck it, I'll hold it. It's drum and bass. What you gonna do?
And then depending how I feel, sometimes I'll just carry on singing. Won't give it up. How did we take it this far? We'll never end. You're all I ever needed. Love wins again.
One of the challenges I do find when I'm preparing a set or planning a set is the constant changes of keys and tempos that our original tracks go over, and trying to get them to run smoothly into the mix sections. I think one of the hardest things is that we cross over a lot of genres. There's a lot of tunes that I probably wouldn't put in a set, some of our album tracks maybe for various reasons, sometimes just because they wouldn't particularly work that well in a club and it is just an album track that people might love at home but it wouldn't really fit in the set, or it could just be because it would just be impossible for me to mix it in. But what I do try to do is kind of do a bit of drum and bass, and then I will have a mix where I'll make a tune go down to, I'll pull the tune down to 150 and then go into a dubstep section, and then I'll do like a section of 150 tunes or 150 BPM tunes, and then I would probably let that section kind of end naturally. So maybe I'd play like the second half of a drop and then let the tune end and then just go back into drum and bass from the start of a track. I tend not to mix out of dubstep into drum and bass. I can mix out of drum and bass into dubstep, but for some reason it doesn't work as well the other way. But that kind of works nicely because I think people like when I say dubstep, people go, ooh, dubstep, ooh. But they like that little break in the middle. It's only maybe like 5 or 6 tunes. We have a couple of dubstep tracks and they work really well and they break the set up quite nicely, and I also think it kind of makes the set stand out, especially if we're on a lineup that is just drum and bass all night. When we kind of go on and do an hour and have this bit in the middle that changes things up a little bit, I think it kind of works. So yeah, but it can be challenging to cross over different genres, all the different keys, which is another reason why I will plan everything.